Hello everyone, welcome back to the Angular Live project. In this video, we will create our login UI. So in the previous video, we have seen like how we can create a registration UI using the Angular 8, and in that we have created this Angular registration page using the Angular 8 and the HTML, and we have imported some CSS and we have used Bootstrap CSS and Bootstrap JavaScript. So apart from this one, let's you now create the login tab. So currently when we click on this login, we are not moving because we didn't design anything on the login page. So let's go to the Visual Studio Code, and this is the design which we did in the previous video, where like it's basically representing the registration HTML page. So here we have created the form module, and based on that we have taken all the variables. So for designing login page into the Angular 8, what we have to do, let's go to the terminal, and I'm going to take that component inside the user folder. So I will minimize it, and here I will do like ng-gc for component, and I don't want the testing file and the CSS file. So for that one, like we can do skip test and you can make it as a true, then as, and then we have to give the name of our component. So I'm going to take as a login, and once I will hit enter, what it will do, it will create a one component. So it is giving, okay, we have given the wrong name. So skip tests. So now like what will happen, it is okay. So basically like here T should be capital, so that's why it was not creating the component. Now it's created, and when I go inside the user folder, and we can see it's a login, and here we have the login HTML page and the login component page. So for designing a page inside the login, what we have to do, we have to take a one form model, and inside that form model, what we have to do, we have to design the we have to take the two variables as username and the password. So inside the component, I'm going to do like for the registration, we have created inside the service, like this form model we have designed inside the service because we want as a globally. That's why we have created in the service. But like in the login case, like we can design our form model inside the login component. So let's design that one. So for that one, so this is the form model, like form model equal to username and the password. Now next, what we have to do, we have to design the HTML page or the UI. So let's go to the login component HTML, and let's get rid of this one. And here what I'm going to take, I'm going to take a one form, and inside that form, like I have to design like hash form, and equal to, I'm going to take it as a ng form, and apart from this one, I'm going to take the class, and that class we have to define as per our requirement. And here I'm going to take as a autocomplete as off. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a one button. So for that button, like we have to create a one function for the submit. So let's define that as well. And what function I will create on submit. And inside this on submit, what we will do, we will pass this form. And after that, let's design the div, and inside this div, like we will take a label, but before that, let's define it as a class, and that class name I'm going to give as a form group. And inside this one, I'm going to take a one label, and this label name I will give as a username. And after this label, I'm going to take a one input, and inside this input I will take a one class as a form control, and then hash username that we have to give, like we have to define the property of type of ng model, and then we have to give the name, and that name we have to give as a username, that because we have taken this one, and then we have to define the ng model. So inside this we have to define the ng model, and this one we have to take as a form model dot username. So here we have taken as a form model, so here okay, let's copy properly. So form model dot, so let's take it inside the double quotes. So form model dot, and what is that property name? We have username, and we have to make it as a required. So this way we have designed our like username. Next I can copy this one for password similar to that one, and input type, what I can do, I can make it as a password. So type I can make as a password, and other things like form controller, everything will be same. Only what we have to do, we have to change the name, and that name will be password, and same I can copy and I can make as a form model password, and here also I can put as a password. So here I have done. Now next what we have to do, like after this div I can take a one HR, so it will give a line to us, and after this one what I can make, let's take this group as it, or let's take another div, and this div what I can do, I can take a class as form row, and inside that again I will take a one div, and in this div name I will take as a form group, and call I will take medium as a 8, and then offset MD2, and inside this one I will take a one button, and let's make it as a type, and this one I'm going to take as a submit, and then I'm going to define a class, and this class as a btn, and btn large, and btn block. So that CSS we are giving here, and after this one what we have to make, we have to make like disabled, like this button should be disabled until like form is invalid. So form is invalid until we have to make it as a disable, and inside this one we can put as a button login. So that we have designed it, and after that what we have to do, we have to define this on submit button inside this component page. So let's define this on submit button, and this on submit button what it take forms. So what we have to do, we have to take one variable ng of ng form type. So this we have to take. So that is the second thing we have to do. Now next what we have to do, let's go to the user component .html, and here currently we have given the router link only for the registration. Now we have to give the router link for the login. So for that let's copy it, and here what I'm going to take, I'm going to take as a login, and here I'm going to do login, and apart from this one in the routing we have to copy this one, and here we have to make as a login, and the component we have to take as a login component. So that changes we have to make. Now let's serve this. So ng serve. If we will have any error, it will show us, we will fix that. Otherwise we will see on the browser like we are able to see the UI for login or not. So it's compiling as of now. So far what we have done, like we have created this HTML page, and then what we have done, we created this function name inside this login.component.ts. Here we can see, and that is taking the form type. And then in the routing we have defined this login, and here we have defined as a router link. So the compilation is successful. Let's go to the browser and see. So currently like it is coming on the registration that we have defined here, like by default if we will go on the routing, so by default it should land to the registration page. That's why it is showing this one. If I will click on this login, so currently it is not. Let's F12 this one and see what error we are getting. So currently it is giving the load resource error. So let's find out what is the error basically. So let's compile it again. So it's compiled successfully. Let's go back again, check. Let's click on the login. So yeah, now we are not facing any issue. Sometime like it doesn't compile properly, so that's why I serve it again. And when I click on sign up, we are looking the sign up screen, and when I will click on this login tab, we are looking the login things. If by default we want to land to the login page, so what I can do, I can write it here directly to the login. So let's save it again, and now we are landing to this one. So I will remove this URL and hit enter. So we are going to the login. So by default it is showing as a login. So in the next video we will see like how we connect these two with the API, and we'll see the process. So that's it for this video. Thank you.